learned in this Beware the Bear series that the Michigan Department of Natural Resources has actively encouraged black bears to migrate from the Upper Peninsula into the Lower Peninsula, partly in an effort to turn Michigan into the nation's bear state. But that's led to problems with the human population, including crop and bird feeder damage, as well as to bee farms, more car bear crashes, an increase in dog kills, bluff charges on people, even attacks on humans. Although that is rare, says the DNR's Katie Keene.
The sow-cub situation. Here's a different situation that you could get in the middle of without being even aware of what you're doing. The other situation is maybe a food reward has been given to a bear or when you think of any animal, all of a sudden you start giving it a little something tasty, it loses its fear of you quickly. We're training it.
So quit training bears by leaving food out, says Keene. Here's another consideration, one that might affect this part of Michigan more than any other. Could word of the sudden spate of bear growth maybe spur tourists in deciding not to come here anymore? That is a worry for Ludington State Park interpreter Alan Wernett.
We just don't want them to be part of the problem like the raccoons. I mean, the raccoons are the cutest little things in the world, but they're really a problem with the campers and getting in the dumpsters. And it's easy food for them, and we don't want the bears that come here to realize that. So we try to shoo them away.
Wernett says bears have been spotted wandering on the east side of Hamlin Lake, but not so much on the west side near the state park.
Ludington State Park is a dune environment, a dry dune environment. So when they get here, they realize there's no natural foods in abundance. We don't have the blueberry bushes in abundance here in the dune area.
But Wernett says bears do occasionally wander into the park, and they're promptly shooed away. On the whole, he insists campers have little to worry about.
The bears don't come after the people here. The black bears do not come after people here. There's only a couple times in the year I've been told that black bears could be a problem when they come out of hibernation, when they're hungry, or they have cubs.
Wernett says females with cubs tend to avoid the state park because of its poor habitat and lack of food. Any bears that do stray into the park are usually young males who are exploring.
They come down the rivers looking for mate and territory. They get to the lake here, the big lake, and they find out most of the time there's not much here, and they end up turning around and going back up the rivers, which was fine with us.
The state issued 7,140 bear hunting licenses throughout Michigan this past year, a sizable increase from the year before. Wernett is hoping the DNR is closely monitoring the black bear population in this part of Michigan. Just how close is closely monitoring? Well, the DNR's Katie Keene admits they don't keep track of bears each and every year.
We try to touch every so many years, like a multi-year cycle. That's because we had found when we're changing regulations every year, one, it's hard for us to keep track, you and me, but then it's also, we can't look back and see the result of the season. So here we're trying to hold things steady so that we can look back and see, did those tweaks have the effect we hope they did, and maybe if we have different ways we want to go in the future.
But Wernett, as well as area corn growers and other farmers, along with beekeepers and residents with broken bird feeders and overturned garbage cans, certainly are monitoring what's happening each and every year. And for the most part, they're not liking what they're seeing. They say the plan to turn Michigan into the nation's bear hunting state bears a lot of patience on the public's part, and maybe a rethinking on the DNR's part about continuing the policy of bolstering the bear community in the face of some unintended consequences so far. Basically, residents are threatening to outroar their new four-legged neighbors.